Let's bring in our panel. Democrat Antonio Villaraigosa is the former mayor of Los Angeles, Speaker of the California Assembly. Earlier this year, he ran for governor of California. And Steven Olikara ran for U.S. Senate in Wisconsin. He's a senior fellow for the political reform at the USC Schwarzenegger Institute. Gentlemen, welcome. Mr. Mayor, good to have you on the panel for the first time.
Good to be here.
Steven, though, let's start with you as the Wisconsin guy on the panel who's run in Wisconsin and knows Francesca Hong for a long time. There's been a lot made of her. What's she really like?
Well, I know Francesca Hong and her leading opponent, David Crowley, both very well since the early days of their political careers. Francesca Hong came onto the scene in Wisconsin in 2020, so 2 years after AOC was first elected, and she channeled some of that AOC energy in Wisconsin. She's a non-traditional type of political leader, a democratic socialist, and represents the bluest assembly district in Madison, Wisconsin. So this is a district largely of state government workers, of University of Wisconsin, my alma mater, staff members. And she has really channeled this energy for change, her core message being permanent affordability. And you've, of course, seen that message echoed among progressive candidates across the country. And so now in this race, she has led a movement that is on the verge of likely creating a massive upset victory tomorrow, leading on issues like AI data centers. She's been a crusader against that, an issue that folks across the aisle can relate to.
And she would be the first Democratic socialist to be a Democratic nominee for governor of a major swing state. And she's had positions like defunding police, tax increases for the rich, abolishing ICE. And then the New York Times put out this headline: will voters think that Francesca Hong is too radical? Here's what she thinks. And I want to pull out one section in particular where she apparently is not into holidays. This is a section from the New York Times. I do not enjoy fireworks, she wrote several days before 4th of July in 2019. Halloween, she said in 2025, is not my thing. Thanksgiving is a colonizer holiday that people should not gather to honor, she posted in 2020. Valentine's Day, she wrote in 2022, brings out the worst of humanity on a day capitalism tells you to show love. Mayor Villaraigosa, I'm not a political strategist. You have worked as one. Is being anti-fireworks and anti-love on Valentine's Day and anti-turkey on Thanksgiving a good political position to be in? She says, by the way, these were some old tweets and she's had some bad takes, but.
Well, you said it. She's had some bad takes. Look, I mean, she sounds like a caricature of what many describe people on the left. My issue is if they're focused on things like that and not the economy and affordability, I don't expect that she's going to do very well. If she has left, that kind of thinking and now disassociates herself with that and focuses more on what people care about, that they can't afford the cost of gas and groceries, that their electricity rates are too high, she's got a shot.
But doesn't that seem like an unnecessary distraction?
Without
if
question.
Voters get a choice between one who's pro-turkey on Thanksgiving and one who isn't, or at least wasn't in the past, now says Thanksgiving's her favorite holiday with a smile.
Well, Steve knows her better, and from what I understand, she's kind of moved away from some of those positions. But yeah, she sounds like a caricature of what people describe.
Yet, why is she connecting? Clearly, I mean, Mandela Barnes, who was a competitive candidate, dropped out because she was doing so well. Thought he couldn't beat her. What is going on with her that people in the rest of the country maybe aren't seeing?
People want a lot of change right now, and I think voters in the Democratic primary are saying the moderate candidates doesn't represent enough change. And she's speaking to the basic idea that we want, whether you're a police officer or teacher, to be able to afford a home right now. And that's something that I think clearly has traction. But here's the thing, and this is what the mayor is picking up on. I think people want change, but not weird. And I think that's what we're tapping into with this Thanksgiving issue. And by the way, it should be mentioned, these aren't necessarily silly tweets from when she's in college. These were all statements she put out after getting elected and after being in public life. So it is all fair game. And now she has the risk of getting the worst of both worlds, where she's too far for the general election, too far left for the general election electorate, but also seen as out of the norm with basic cultural issues. And that's why the prediction markets of this race have completely flipped. Democrats were favored to win the general election. Now it's flipped towards the Republicans.
Well, and it sort of raises this bigger question of this battle for the soul of the Democratic Party. Fareed Zakaria this weekend on CNN got to this battle. Here's some of what he said on his show.
The left has the passion, but the middle still has the votes the Democrats need to win in general elections. The progressive answer is that Democrats can solve this by becoming more economically populist, attacking billionaires, expanding benefits, and thus appealing to the working class. But these ideas don't appeal to the actual working class.
You just ran, you've won, you've lost. Where do you see things right now on that front in terms of where Democrats should go and where the electorate actually is?
Well, if you are going to be a democratic socialist, focus on the economy in the way that Syed did in the Michigan primary.
Who's not a democratic socialist.
Well, but
Yeah.
espouse their views.
Sure.
Focus on the economy. When you focus on some of the cultural issues, no turkey, no fireworks, a lot of what Democrats focus on, I think we're going to lose the election. People do want change. There's no question about that. We have an economy that's not working for enough people across, not just here in California, but across the country. And so what happens is, people are falling off the flat earth on one side or stuck with their heads in the clouds on the other side looking for pie in the sky. If you focus on the economy, you can win back working class people that we've lost in so many ways.
Do you think the Democrats are doing a good enough job of governing blue cities?
No,
I
don't. Absolutely.
And so what is the message that's being sent by the way that blue cities are being governed and how that's impacting the way the party is perceived?
Well, they're looking at blue cities where people are leaving in droves to, red states, to the Midwest, to other places. They're seeing, whether it's crime or cities that just aren't working, for the economy, and people are leaving. And so I think what we have to do is reclaim competence and common sense. Now, you just mentioned that I just got out of an election. Obviously, it didn't do that well. But at the end of the day, my sense is if we're focused on an economy that's not working for enough people and have solutions for fixing that, we can win. We have to be a Big Tent party, that brings in all of us.
Yeah.
But when you lose the middle, you got to look in the mirror.
We're out of time, so one sentence.
Yes, well, and that's why I think Democrats need to become the working class party. Look at the results tomorrow. Does Fran win not just Madison, but also Milwaukee, which is much more of a working class city?
And part of what Fareed says is to be the working class party is to not be weird on the cultural issues, to turn off people on gut issues that they understand.
We're all pro-Turkey here.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, Steven, thank you. You guys are going to be back with us in the next hour to talk about what's happening with President Trump, which is going to be interesting, and where the Republican Party is in. And